Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Code with Italians. I am checking. I do have the microphone working. I have rebooted the computer today. What else? I have turned off the camera beforehand so they cool down just in case. Hopefully, we don't have the same thing that happened last week where everything broke all at once. Because today, I really want to understand how insets work. And we have the best person for that with us. Hi, Alex. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm so looking forward to hearing the explanation. And maybe at the end of this stream today, I will not have to do the thing that I usually do, which is try everything until one works.
Oh no, you've given away my secret.
Oh, no. Okay, so we're done.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, bye.
The punch it until it works strategy, like the
time-honored tradition.
Yeah, hopefully it's a little bit better than that now.
Yeah, there's a bit more science involved in the whole thing. Ivan, people are asking.
Yes, I know. So this is so people notice that doesn't look like the original Spike. This is the dummy Spike because it's too hot in the room. So the dog is on the other side of the house, trying to have some cooler experience. This room here has carpet on the floor, so he has no chance. But on the other side of the room, there's like a marble floor. How is like a the whatever tiles. So it's a bit colder. And yeah, but I didn't want to leave you without the dog, so I actually got this. This is actually from Sasha. Sasha gave it as a present to Spike when when we got Spike. So imagine this small Labrador with this huge puppy kind of. So now he stays, and if you look at, you see that he suffered a lot.
It's melting.
There are like chop days and that kind of stuff. So he had a rough life. But now he's chilling on the couch. So, bienvenidos todos.
No.
Bienvenidos,
already.
Alex. Bienvenidos, Alex. So, nosotros sabemos una tradición. El pueblo in the chat. Oh man, puede comprar 2 minutos en español, because yo aprendo español con Duolingo, y Sebastiano es fucking troll, yeah. Damn it. Okay. Thank you, Stelianos, for the support. This is the heat is not helping. So, jokes aside, thank you everybody for the support and for the trolling. I want to do the
Ivan thing.
PSA.
Do the Ivan thing
right away. So, thank you, Never Come Zero, for buying the Elivano. We also have the Elivano T-shirt on the store if you want to step up your trolling game. It's pretty hilarious when I walk with my wife and she has a Livano T-shirt and I have the Spike T-shirt, and then there's Spike. It's pretty much like there's Spike, the Spike T-shirt, and then there is a Livano T-shirt. So it's pretty hilarious as a family. Check our store for the T-shirts. And thank you for supporting us in any way that you can. You can support us with your Prime. If you have Amazon Prime subscription, you can subscribe for free to every... I'm actually subscribing right now. You can see me joining. You basically have one subscription for free every month. So you can connect your Prime Gaming account to your Twitch account, and Uncle Bezos is just gonna give you a subscription for free, and you can subscribe to us, or you can become a subscriber on our coffee page. You can pick the tier that you want. There are membership for everybody. Check out what you get with every tier, and thank you for the support. We are gonna run giveaways as usual during the episode. The live giveaway is gonna be the giveaway for the pizza sticker, and you can win one of this. And if you are also a subscriber and you win the giveaway, you will get the holo sticker that you won't be able to have in any other way. You cannot buy it, you can only win it as a subscriber. We have also a bunch of other stickers that we are gonna send you if you win the giveaway, so stick with us. The giveaway that we are running on YouTube, on the other end, I'm gonna post the link in a moment after we start, so you can still join the giveaway. We are gonna give away an IntelliJ license, an IntelliJ Ultimate license. It's gonna be like $100, $150 of license, and you can use IntelliJ Ultimate for building whatever you want, from Compose for desktop to web, Android, the usual shenanigans, and whatever you have, you can use IntelliJ Ultimate Edition. So stick with us, and thank you for the support. So Alex, now it's all about you and trying to teach me how that thing works. Okay? So no pressure. No pressure. Just go.
Insets, let's go.
Hey.
It's one of my favorite topics, so super excited to be here and talk about it. I think I saw in one of the questions asked by someone already, which is a great starter point, is just what are insets in the first place, which I think is a good place to start.
It gets very philosophical very quickly.
Yes, very philosophical. What are insets? So for an Android app that you launch, the user is giving you some space to work with. So most of the time it's probably the full screen, but it could be in portrait, it could be in landscape. You can even think about like multi-window modes, like those sort of things. Like there's a certain area of the screen that the user is giving you. That not all of that screen you can directly work with. There's a status bar, there's a navigation bar, there's potentially cutouts, notches, everything like that. That is system UI that's drawn around your app. And insets are the APIs that describe how, let your app know how much space is getting taken up and where they are. So that's the summary of what insets are. And the reason why you might care about them is when you want to use as much space as possible, you can draw underneath the status bar, underneath the navigation bar, and get those really nice edge-to-edge effects that a lot of apps you might see. I think Google Maps is my favorite example. The like above the status bar, you can still see the map underneath, which is a lot more immersive than if just there was like a fixed color status bar at the top. But then once you are drawing underneath everything, you want to make sure nothing's obscured. So you need to use the Insets APIs to make sure that there's not buttons that you can't click, because that's really bad. You don't want that to happen.
And one other example that I can think of, and I think that's where the Insets API started from, is if you have like a notch or something like that, correct? Is it all the same API? Is it a different thing?
It's all in the same group of APIs. There are ways to get the specific types, but in most use, you'll probably just kind of combine everything. And I hope to be able to show off that today with some of the new Compose APIs in 1.2. And one thing I did not mention, and this is also where insets become very important, is the soft keyboard, the IME. That is also represented as a type of insets. So if you want to customize your application and have nice animations when the keyboard comes in and out, that is also through the Insets APIs. And as everyone knows, dealing with the soft keyboard in Android is the easiest thing ever.
Yes, I've done it all the time. Like it's the first thing I do in any project.
Yep.
Also, you do it pleasantly. It's not that you just do it; you actually enjoy doing
Oh
it.
yeah, I love it. I love it. Why wouldn't I?
Well, one of those things, right?
Yep.
One of those very simple things that always works at the first attempt.
Yeah.
So speaking of first attempt and the lack of success in the first attempt, can you explain to me what is the relationship between the Insets API and the Fit System Windows API? Because the latter, I only know it never works the way I want it to. So
Yeah, and so that's like by default, if you like launch an Android app and you don't touch insets at all, there's a lot of stuff that's done automatically for you so that there are not buttons that are obscured. And that's where a lot of this kind of automatic fit system windows comes in. So certain components automatically adjust the content for the insets. And certain components, like some of the app compat, like coordinator layouts, things like that, have fit system windows, which kind of like do things automatically for you. The downside is those are pretty inflexible and can do some weird things. Um, so if you want to have full control yourself, fit system windows is usually not what you want to go to because it's going to do things kind of however it feels like it and probably mess up other things elsewhere. And that's also some of the history is the Insets APIs, like you said, like originally like as more like complex features like notches, display cutouts, and as like the gesture navigation and the different navigation bars have come around, like they've gotten more and more complicated, and those APIs have evolved to change with that. So that also adds to the complication, is that it's a ever-changing API to be able to support more and more different types of screens and be able to supply that all that information to the app.
got it. Got it. Should I show you my broken code? You can help me fix it.
Of course.
Yes. Okay, so I have just updated the bundle project to Compose 1.2 stable. I don't think there was any substantial difference between beta that we were at and stable in terms of fixes for this, but just in case, until next week when we're gonna jump straight into 1.3 alpha because Doris is coming, so why not?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
YOLO.
There's a lot of cool animation stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. And I want to understand that stuff as well. Okay, so this is the first thing you see on the right-hand side. There's the emulator here. And the first thing you see is the onboarding. And it's fucked. So theoretically,
Suboptimal.
yes, sorry,
Suboptimal.
suboptimal. Theoretically, what I would like to see is that the background goes behind the status bar and the navigation bar, uh, but the content doesn't like go behind it. Now, I have ample margins, so it wouldn't entirely go behind anyway here, but this shouldn't get any closer to the bottom of the screen, right? So
right, exactly.
let's see how it's implemented. I do not remember, so that's going to be interesting. Onboarding screen, I guess. Yep, wrong one. So this is the implementation. So I think somewhere in here, oh, everything is red. Somewhere in here, why is it? Okay, I don't know. Somewhere in here, I should have yes, I have this padding here, which is probably the wrong place. I figured this is the right padding to apply, but then I don't know how would I have the background expander as well, because the background is provided by the surface.
Yeah. So just to one step back. There's
Yes.
already inset support here. Is this Accompanist? Is this the one built into Android X Compose?
I think it's the Compose one. I would like to check, but Studio is not really doing much. Yeah, it's the foundation one.
Okay, exactly. And just to clarify that for people who are watching,
Yes.
Accompanist, the Google provided kind of incubator for different Compose APIs. Insets used to be supported through Accompanist with different APIs, and that has recently, as of Compose 1.2, graduated into built-in straight into Android X Compose. So the Insets side on Accompanist is now deprecated. So if you were using that, I'd highly recommend checking out. There's a migration guide there that describes. There's a few things that changed, but a lot of the same concepts apply. So to move off of Accompanist Insets and into the fully supported one. Yep, and there's the page you can see. So it looks like you've already done that step of ripping out Accompanist Insets and putting in the Android X Foundation one.
I think I did. I don't remember when. Maybe when Pietro was here, I think, because we were talking about known phone devices. So probably as part of that we were doing this, but then I clearly didn't do it right. Well, probably did the migration right itself, but
Let's check.
yeah.
I'm thinking, by the way, that your update to Compose 1.2.0 is a little bit more complicated. So I think, is that Compose version being used for both the compiler and the libraries?
I think so. Let me check the build. Right, it would be here. Build. Yes.
Okay. So one thing that recently happened was the compiler version of Compose. That version got split off from the most of the Compose libraries, and that's to free up. Since that Compose compiler version is linked heavily to the Kotlin version, kind of unlink those to be able to continue to update faster without updating the Compose versions of the libraries as well. So I think it'll be a slightly more complicated upgrade than just changing that. So I think what I'd do is add like a new Compose compiler.
I mean, I have it.
Or add a new Compose compiler for like the version definition.
I'm just going to do this here.
Yeah, and then Compose compiler, I think 1.2.0 is latest, and that's with Kotlin 1.7.
Okay.
So you'll probably have to update that as well.
Do I need to update this as well? I don't think so.
That should be fine.
Okay, let's sync. Let's see how it goes. So it's not only insets we're fixing today.
Yes.
We're also doing the migration to 1.2 stable. Am I? Yeah, starting an episode with updating dependencies. I think this is compose.compiler. I think should be, or maybe I'll just do this instead. I'm just gonna write it like this so it doesn't confuse it. Compose compiler. Sync again. Stylianos, if you're right and this doesn't work, I might be upset with myself. Yes.
Yep. Part of that.
Still doesn't seem to like it too much, but maybe it's just because it doesn't compile.
And then I think
I need to update KSP, obviously. But KSP is probably gonna break Hilt because of course it is. Let's try 1.7.0, but it's the same version, so it should work.
It might be 1.0.6
for
KSP.
You mean here?
Yep.
Okay, let's do the usual thing. KSP, nope. Gradle plugin, nope. This one, no, they moved it, right. Still Maven Central now. Damn it, I never remember. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do plugins.gradle.org and KSP. Perfect. KSP. Nope. Okay, so it's on Maven Central. Search.maven and 170.106. Have I updated to the right version? I think it is the right version.
I think you had 1.0.5.
Oh,
If
yes.
I saw correctly.
Yes, you were right. Okay.
And then one more thing, as this build I assume will fail. The rest of the compose libraries, other than compiler, I think the latest is RC03. It hasn't quite hit the full 1.2.
All right.
So for those it'll be RC03.
So given that they're asking in the chat about what websites I was using, there's a number of them. One is maven.google, not meet, maven.google.com, which is the web interface to the Google repository that you put in your Gradle file. So this is one. Ivan, are you putting the links or should I do it?
I'm gonna follow up on this later. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm
okay.
trying to run the giveaways.
No
I broke
worries.
everything.
Okay. Then we have this one is Maven Central. So you can search Maven Central here. And then the other one I checked was the Gradle plugins website where you can search for Gradle plugin versions. This would be the point where I say you can also use package search, which would at least give you the both Google Maven and Maven Central. We don't track Gradle plugins yet. Maybe one day, I don't know. But yeah, you can also use that package search. Yay! It's great because I work on it. Shameless plug. Okay. So now that we have done this, we have a bunch of warnings, which I'm sure it's fine. It's failed to resolve a bunch of things. Area UI test manifest 120. Okay, let's check because yes, that's RC03 as well. Why is it using the compiler version one? Oh, wait, maybe I hadn't synced yet. I had not synced yet. That explains it. Okay.
While we're waiting for this, I saw a question come through on the Twitch chat of are the Compose Insets APIs using the same window Insets APIs under the hood? And the answer is yes, absolutely. If you're used to the Insets APIs...
You are watching a master at work.
I was not prepared for that.
Sorry. Could have warned you that could happen.
Yeah, so if you are using the add window insets listener for views, or using a library like Chris Baines's Insetter, all those same APIs are exactly what the Compose Inset APIs are using, and that's what Accompanist Insets did as well. So it's just packaging that together and providing it in a much nicer Compose environment with modifiers and a few more cool things that we might be able to show off.
Okie doke. I think I just crashed the app. Like just putting an annotation. Live edit, you failed me. Oh well.
Is your audio weird or my headphones are weird?
I don't know.
Is there a robot voice filter as well?
Yeah. Again. I don't know why it happens. It was fine earlier. It was fine. It's fine. What the hell?
Alex Seb is low. Yeah.
Yes, but the audio setup is correct this time. I don't know what's going on. Yay.
Turn it on and off again.
Yeah, I might have to do that. Just looking up if I fucked up something somewhere. But no, sample rate is fine. Okay. What can I do?
Unplug the microphone, Sebastian.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. I can change microphone and then change back to this one. Maybe.
Right. Also,
Maybe it will help.
also exterminate. Well, Carmen says
Okay.
something's interesting because maybe it's the emulator.
Maybe it's the emulator. It might be. It would not be the first time that I have issues with that, but I don't know. In the meantime, it looks like a bunch of dependencies broke. Probably because we need to compile against Android 32. Okay, that we can do that. Let's try again. So now I'm using the secondary microphone, which is probably bad. Let me try to switch back to the other one.
I still hear you very Daleki on Skype. What are you using for Skype?
That's a good question. It's probably using whatever, because Skype does the Skype thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I switch microphone on Skype as well. I don't know if it makes any
Yes.
difference.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Hopefully, except to make up for the absence of spike. I wish, Mark, I wish. But you know me, I don't plan things. Things just break and happen. So that's how I roll.
Back on the stream. Still problem on the stream.
Yeah, because I switched back to the main microphone on the stream. I was hoping that it would work. It does not. Okay. Okay.
I mean, luckily we have these dead times where the Gradle is singing, where you can run configuration checks, benchmarks. You
I'm
can run
multitasking.
you can train a machine learning model, whatever. It's like, oh yeah, just running some TensorFlow shit here while the Gradle is syncing.
Okay, it's back to normal, and KSP is doing something. Come on, KSP, I believe in you.
Oh no, Sebastiano broke it.
Sebastiano broke it.
Hi, Mark.
Oh man.
You're having too much fun. I mean, it's fine because we're here to have fun after all, but still. I think I can hear your fan very loudly now, though, even.
My fan?
Oh no, it broke again.
Yep.
The build, I should say.
Yep. I mean, something had to break, right? It wouldn't be in the tradition of these streams otherwise. Okay, so compose compiler. Why is the compiler? Wait, what? What is saying to the compiler use the RC version?
That's strange.
Because I have the compose compiler version here.
Yeah,
Which,
what else is...
unless I fucked that up, no, that's correct. Is it correct here? Yes, it is.
Is the Android X Compose compiler library being used somewhere?
Let's see. It should be in the bundle. Yes, it's in the bundle. And the bundle is used. Compose. There it is. It's used here, so it should be fine. I don't know. I have no idea. So I'll do what we always do in these cases. Invalidate and restart. Buy the stickers. Just in case. I have no idea what the hell was going on. So Yeah, I know there is no compiler version 1.2.0 RC3. The problem was, why was it picking that version up? Because I had specified both in the dependency and in the compose compiler options that it should use 1.2.0 stable. But what I can try and do, I can try and do 1.2.0 here, and also here try to R code it to see if it works this way.
Does the bundle, I haven't actually used the bundles and version catalogs. Do those have, how does that get the versions? Is it through the libraries?
Yeah, it's essentially saying, oh, take all this stuff and dump it into like, they don't have to have the same version, if
Okay.
that's the question, because they're like, you can have heterogeneous stuff in there, like all these ones have different versions, but it
Got it.
still works.
The other thing is, you might not want to have the compiler that's in the normal like implementation of the app, so removing that might also be a thing to try.
Okay, I removed it from the bundle. Let's sync again. Now, obviously, it's indexing, so we have some time to talk about insets, I think.
Yeah.
All perfectly studied and rehearsed.
I think one of the coolest things about the Compose side, if you've worked with insets on the Views side, is in Compose you get animated insets for free, which is not trivial if you've done it on Views and such.
That's very generous. Not trivial is probably the most generous way I've ever heard it.
The goal is you don't have to worry about all of the animation side. That's all being taken care of for you. So, and I think that also gets into some of the misconceptions about insets, and also why they're difficult. Is some of the misconceptions is that insets are kind of these like fixed values that are always like a static value. If you search on I think if you search on Stack Overflow, you'll find some like old responses of like, how do you get the status bar height? And it's like, it's this DP value, or it's this number of pixels, or like refer to this resource to get it. And that would be simple. It'd be nice if it was like that, but it's not. Like, those are kind of dynamic values. Like
That
if
was
you,
wrong 10 years ago, and it still is wrong.
yes. And if anything, it's gotten more wrong. Like, it might have worked like 95% of the time before, and maybe now it'll work like 80% of the time. Like, you really do need to use the window insets APIs to get the correct value, and also get updates when it changes. So like, one of the things like on Android 12L and Android 13 on tablets, like there's the new taskbar that's at the bottom. And one of the things that you can do as a user is kind of like hide that taskbar. And that's a navigation inset that's changing as the user is doing that. So if you just like, when your application starts, if you like, oh, what's the navigation bar height? And then you use that fixed value for the rest of the lifetime of your app, that'll probably be wrong. And you might have clipping because that will change as your app is visible. And similar cases, like when you rotate, if you like, the status bar height might change depending on where there's notches or where there's different status bar heights. So that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions. The downside is then like, you need to update and kind of change your layout whenever those insets values are changing. And luckily, Compose is set up very well to do that.
So when you're talking about insets animations, you're talking about things like the fact that you can have the IME animate out, for example, right? Those are the cases where that would
Yes.
happen. Are there
Yep.
any other?
Yeah. So the IME is the big one. That's the main one, that there's like that hook to nicely sync with the keyboard animating in and out. But that navigation bar inset on Android 12 and 13, that is also an animated one. So with Compose, you'll get that animation for free, as that bar kind of like hides and shows. So I think those are the only two I'm aware of right now. But if there's a new one in the future, Compose will have you covered as long as since it's using all those same APIs under the hood.
Nice. Okay, so we still have the same problem for some reason. I'm not very clear. Is it this Kotlin compiler extension version? Wait, what? I have 2 of those. Well, that might explain. Hey, better safe than sorry. That's why you put it twice.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Oh, God.
you can never get enough, right?
Yes. Yes, it's more reliable if you have it twice. The only
Twice.
well played,
Oh,
well
man,
played.
that's brutal.
The only thing I would say is that then you have to remember keeping them in sync, and clearly I did not do that. I mean, it's doing something, so maybe it's
Running
working
things.
now. I don't know.
I mean,
Fingers crossed.
To be fair, we did just change how we were keeping those in sync. So,
Yeah.
like before, it was always in sync. Those two were
Yeah.
always exactly the same.
Yeah, so that worked. So now I can do this.
Oh no, hilt.
Oh yes,
Can I say? I just want to point it out. Can we say that having somebody from Google, okay, trying to fix our dependencies, it's a very expensive way of leveraging friendship.
no.
It's a very weird way of having friends over. You know, they could add a lot of value to our stream. You know, the people can learn from. No. Let's get somebody from Google because Sebastiano needs to update libraries.
It wasn't my fault.
No. That's never your fault. It's never your fault. It's
I
always
know.
like, it's always society. Let's blame. It's Obama probably. It's always external, right?
I think I just declare technical bankruptcy and I'm starting a new project.
Yeah, just
that might work.
There is like a code lab somewhere. You know, let's do a code lab for the Insect live on Twitch.
Yes.
It's global warming, yeah, probably. Yeah.
God.
5G, COVID vaccine. There is always an excuse, right?
Come on. Hi, Leland.
Ciao, Leland. Jesus Christ. Really? This is what we have, right? Oh, more people.
This is not embarrassing at all. It's fine.
I can't wait for next episode with Doris, where we are gonna bring the Deus Ex Machina of animation and probably, I don't know, let's update some Android middle plugin bullshit somewhere, right?
But we have to update Compose. Because otherwise the stuff will not work. What could possibly go wrong? Oh man!
At the moment, right now, I want to leave. I mean, there is not even the dog on the couch. I mean, this episode is just so random.
Okay.
Try to do something.
Let's make it work. Let's create a column that contains a box, because I'm out of ideas. It's a big box. It's a 240 dip box, and it's also brown. Is there a brown color? If there's no brown, there's no brown. That's annoying. Okay, blue, boring. Okay, so let's run this instead. I think we might need to. So the new stuff is in Foundation, so we know we don't need a accompanist, but we need to put some things in the manifest. In the theme.
Yeah, so we can talk through. So, like, as I mentioned before, like by default, Android's kind of doing a lot of things for you. So if you want to handle it yourself to be able to like have full control over every pixel your app has control over, there's kind of 2 things you need to do to tell the system, hey, we're handling all the insets ourselves. So one of them is in main activity.
Yep.
or in your activity, I should say. And that is right after your super on create. The magic incantation is window compat. Dot set decor fit system windows, and then you pass in the activity window, which should just be window, and then false for the next one.
Oh, so it's to disable the fit system Windows stuff.
Right. This is basically saying to the system, hey, don't bother with any of that default. We're going to handle it all ourselves. And so that gets applied to the activities window, just like that. So if you run the app now, you will probably see that it's hard to tell. The square is very big. But if you have a smaller square,
I'll make
that
it.
square
Yeah.
is probably getting overlapped by the status bar.
Okay, now it's gone. Live edit.
Yeah, so it's probably there. It's just probably hidden under the status bar.
Yeah.
So if you change it to like 36, you might see the corner of it peek out the bottom side.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So the status bar is
so,
24 dips. That's what we found out today.
uh,
Remember the number. It's gonna be useful in the future.
Probably just
Yes.
gonna be valid for this version of the emulator in this time zone. So don't count on that, Sebastian.
I mean, until you start using one of those devices with the big status bar, because there's the camera in there.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You're highlighting all of the things why you can't just rely on
Yeah.
a specific number.
Like
And
like
to
a
get that
pixel.
number, yep. To get that number, we can probably put this on the column. You can pass in a modifier for the status bar specifically, which is status bar padding. So if you add that, voila.
I
It's
love live
now-
edit. Jesus, it's
Yeah.
so good.
Live edit is super cool. My hope is it works as much as we want it to, and then it'll be super awesome. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is doing all of the complicated inset stuff under the hood for you, and then applying it as padding to the column. So then that box is being kind of dodged out of the way.
Mm,
So another thing we can do is if you go back to the theme,
yes.
the status bar is still a fixed color, and I think that's
Mhm.
actually pre-filled there. So if instead we do a transparent status bar,
Okay, I don't think live edit can pick that up, so I'm gonna run it again.
so yay,
Kinda.
the icons or the status bar is the wrong theme.
We need
So
to
there's
tell
some-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some controls with that.
Translucent. You need to do the translucent whatever thingy, don't you?
Yes.
I never
There's-
know this stuff. I'm just throwing things from memory.
Is it a
Yeah, so-
manifest?
Yeah, it's Android window light status. I
Trans.
don't think. I think you want to avoid translucent status. I
Right,
think it's
that's the old
Android-
one.
Yeah, Android window window light status bar. And if
It
you
was a
do that-
test. Okay.
Yes.
You passed it. Bravo.
So there's a couple. I do want to call out here accompanist. Hey, there you
Nice.
go. Now the icons are dark. There is a accompanist system UI controller, which provides APIs for kind of this window decor thing.
I
So
think we have it, Sebastian.
Yes, in the app that doesn't build.
Oh yeah, fuck me. Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, we use the system UI controller and we essentially do this. Set system bars color to set it to transparent and dark icons. I guess if you wanted to have a dynamic theme in the app, then you would need to use the side effect in the code instead of putting it in the manifest, right?
right, like what we did only applies for light mode in the manifest. You'd probably need to set up a like values dark thing in dark theme, and then if you had an override in the app, yeah, it gets more complicated. So that's where the system UI controller can kind of set all those values for you, or rather set it programmatically. as opposed to in the themes, because theme files are everyone's favorite as well.
Yeah. Not as much. So I am going to add this to the project. I don't even remember if it's Groovy or Gradle, but it's going to be, yeah, Groovy. So I'm just going to dump it here. Sync. All that stuff is out of date. It's fine. So I can remove this if I put it in the code, but probably I want to leave it because before the code is started, then that would look the same. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like, that is an interesting point of like, if it will run immediately or like how long does it take for the system UI controller. There might be like a frame. You might have to try it though. It might be fast enough.
I would just,
Yeah,
YOLO it for now.
it should work.
It should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. So it's fine. Okay. So
Then you might want to do that inside your theme.
right. Yes.
My application theme.
Yes, you are correct. No. Okay. Yes and yes. Okay. I assume this is working now. It's probably fine. Okay. So now the question I have is, so this sets the navigation bar as well, which we didn't have, because then that would be like a navigation bar color thing, right? So I can have the default in the theme navigation bar color, and that should work out. And then here, though, I have my box at the top. It's staying underneath the status bar. But if I use status bar's padding, will it also not go behind the navigation bar?
Correct, in that status bar padding is only applying the status bar padding. It doesn't know about the navigation bar padding. So let's set up that column there to have like a bunch of items so that and probably so that the column can even scroll.
Right.
You can do column or lazy column, both of them we can try out.
Let's do lazy column, item. I can even do okay, and then I can do the items in here. This is not the right way to do it, by the way, if anyone is wondering. This is very much the wrong way to do it, but it's faster for now. The
Lead by
reason
example. I like it. They're doing the right thing for the community.
yes.
Maybe put some padding on the box so that we can actually tell them apart.
Okay. I guess I can just do 20 here. That also works. Padding on the box, let's say, no, yeah, before the background. Padding, let's say 8 dip, just to have an idea. Okay. I really like live edit. Did I say that already? I really like live edit. Okay, so we have our scrolly thing.
Yep.
We can maybe make it a bit bigger. Oops, not what I meant to do. Let's do 48. Okay.
Yeah, so what we'll see now is, so the reason why, I think I saw a question in Twitch chat here of like, why would you go through the effort here? And the answer is to be able to fill up the full screen, all the space your app has. So like that blue square there at the bottom is going all the way to the end of the screen on the bottom. If you don't do any of this, there'll probably be like a thin black line at the bottom there when the user has the gesture navigation. And if you switch over to the 3-button navigation, it's even more pronounced. I think you should.
Yeah, Sebastian, that's actually what I wanted to suggest, because with the the very thin navigation, you don't see much of the gain, right? Because you are already very close to the bottom. But once you put this app in your project manager hands, they use iPhone usually, and they have some random Android phone, and they have like a 2 centimeter high bottom nav with 3 buttons. It's like, even we'll probably leverage better just to have like a visually. Yeah.
Prepare.
Boom. Look at that. Right?
There you go.
Nice. Nice.
So now
Thanks, Sebastian.
yeah, so that bottom bar is now a bit transparent. You can see through it, but you can also see our problem because of that status bar padding. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the list, that last blue square is obscured.
Good luck clicking. Good luck clicking on the last element.
Oh
in the
no, I
cycle
clicked
here,
it.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So what we can do instead is, instead of doing status bar padding, let's replace that with safe drawing padding.
I do not think I've ever used this one.
Yeah. So the idea of there's a couple safe padding versions. The safe drawing padding, the idea of it is it's the one you probably want most of the time when you want to make sure that things aren't being obscured visually by the system. So the combination of safe drawing padding is the navigation bars, it is the status bars, and it's also the IME and display cutouts. Combination of those. Basically, if there's something that the system UI is drawing and you don't want to draw, or if you don't want something to be obscured by it, then safe drawing padding is what you want. So that one now is correctly dodging the navigation bar. If you scroll, it should you should be able to scroll all the way to the bottom. Nothing's being hidden. The downside is if you scroll back up, those blue squares aren't actually translucent anymore. And this gets kind of into some interesting, like, where is padding exactly being applied and how does it change where components are? So this is also one of the difficult things about insets, is that, like, this is kind of up to your application and exactly what you want, but there are some tools to control it. So if you do, lazy column has another modifier, which is content padding. So if you do content padding equals, then it passes a padding values, and you can get you can turn a window insets into padding values with window insets. So all uppercase window insets, and then there's extensions on window insets for the different types. So there should be a safe drawing.
Oh, this is how you do it.
And then if you do dot as padding values, there should be that one. So that one will now turn the window insets into the safe padding values for content padding. And yeah, right now we're applying it twice, so we don't need that one. And so now that red you can see is above the status bar, but the blue square at the very top is still dodging the status bar. And if you scroll up the list, it will go underneath the status bar.
Oh, nice! No! Wow! No! Oh man! Fuck! No!
So Alex, I was actually trying.
This is so beautiful.
I was actually trying to make this exact thing work last time because I had the same thing. Like I put the padding on the lazy column, and it was like, yeah, that works. But I need the value for the content padding. It's not the lazy column itself that needs to be padded. It's only the content, and I didn't know how to fucking do it. Thank you.
So, yeah.
Sorry, please go.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is one way to do it. There's another way as well that I kind of want to show, just as another option. So if you can also put in the insets inside like an item. So if you put a top item like above the repeat, you can kind of set up a spacer that has the height, the top height in safe drawing. So there's a modifier. This one is window insets height, or window insets top height, I think is what it is.
Right.
And then you can pass in window insets dot safe drawing.
Uh,
Now there's an item that is matching the height of the top insets. And so that'll handle you on the top side. And then if you did the same thing on the bottom, window insets bottom height. So this is another approach, and like it kind of goes just like depending on what exactly you're trying to accomplish. Like one thing this doesn't do, which I want to highlight, is if you rotate the device to landscape at this point.
mhm.
Another misconception about insets is that, like in the 3-bar here, the navigation bar can be. Oh, is it gonna?
Yeah, it didn't register. Let me try again. Okay.
So now the blue squares are on the side, and that's because
Perfect.
navigation.
Smooth.
Yeah. Navigation bar padding can also be on the left or the right, start and end. It doesn't have to be at the bottom. And so right now, how we've set it up is there's nothing dealing with the start or end safe drawing padding. So to fix that, you could add back the content padding, or you could add it back in the normal modifier. And then you can do safe drawing, and then there's a dot only extension on safe drawing.
So I can take these ones out and only.
Then you can pass in a side. So if you do window inset sides dot horizontal, and then if you add back those items,
Oh, I see.
so this should now we're applying the side through content padding, and we're applying the top and bottom through items in the lazy column.
Mhm.
So that's a bit more complicated than just doing the normal content padding. So like in this exact case, it's probably not worth it. But you could think about like maybe there's some sort of image that you want to have that is like being stretched a little bit or have some sort of padding. Like there's some options here. But yeah, I would you could probably just go back to the content padding approach
Yeah.
and get rid of the items.
I was wondering one thing. It doesn't really look like there's behind the navigation bar. I don't see the background. Maybe it's just no, it's just not there. So if I wanted to draw the background behind the navigation bar, how would I do that?
It should be drawn behind there. I think in light mode that white is a pretty like it's pretty opaque. It should be drawn behind, but if you wanted to, you can change the. So this is API 32.
Yeah.
You can get rid of that white opaqueness if you want to completely have it be transparent. And I think that's on System UI controller. There's an option under.
Oh, the is navigation bar contrast blah blah.
Yes, that's the one. Is navigation bar contrast enforced? And so for certain API levels, there will be that kind of automatic scrim placed on top so that content isn't hidden. And this will completely remove that.
Yes.
So now you'll see
Okay.
that those buttons are kind of like there's nothing behind them. The downside here is like you need to make sure that those buttons are still visible, otherwise the user
Right.
like be hard to see them.
So what I could do here is I could put like a box with like a gradient or something, and then I could use that as a scrim behind the items, for example.
Yeah, you can customize your scrim, have that be themed in some way. Yeah.
So for the box here, if I wanted to tell the box how tall it needs to be, would I still use something like this? Or would that be consumed at that point? Which I think kind of brings me to the next big question. Which
Yeah,
is,
and I
what
think
does that mean?
yeah, consuming insets. So this is something in the Android X version of Compose, and that is these modifiers will kind of be intelligent in the sense that padding won't be applied multiple times, which is most useful for things like IME, where you probably don't want to
Hmm.
like. Yeah, we can explore that. So if you do if you do that, that should.
I am just trying this. Let's put a background and see how it goes. Okay. This is clearly not working.
Let's see.
Okay, so the height should be this. I'm trying to get the bottom of the safe drawing stuff, which if it's landscape is not going to work, but let's focus on the portrait for now. So I'm getting the local density. I am transforming that to DPs because this one gives me an int. Yeah, DP should be correct.
If you, it's probably doing the height in pixels, and then you're saying that many DP. That'd be my guess. So you'd probably need to.
I just tried
use...
recoding a value and now it restarted because I think live edit got stuck. No. Okay, there's.
That's strange.
Size, this is fine. It's a surface. Surface is a box. So that should be fine. Oh, I think it's this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man. Could have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what was going on there. Okay, and then I can do this. Ha! Now this works. So I can put this one back. Yes, that's currently doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think the width density, then you can do the
Yeah.
.2dp.
I don't have it here. Just 2dp. Okay, something happened. I'm not sure what. I am also going to do alignment bottom center. Okay, this doesn't really like that. Should be correct. Oh, right. Do I have this twice? Is that the problem?
Should probably be fine.
Okay, then
Nothing's
the other
showing
option
up.
is that it got stuck. Yeah, it got stuck. Okay.
Hey, that's what we wanted. So now that green box is kind of filling up all the space.
Yes.
And so instead of doing that height, there's that there's the built-in window insets height that you can try as well. So bottom height. And so one question I saw in the Twitch chat was like the safe is kind of like a bit magical and kind of combining them. If you want to do things more custom, you can absolutely use the built-in like all the different types of different window insets. So if you look at the like where safe drawing is coming from, there's like there should be at least like 6 or 7 different extensions there. So there's safe drawing. There's safe content, safe gestures. Those are the other safe ones. Then there's status bars. Status bars ignoring visibility. System bars, system gestures, tappable element, waterfall. I think that
Waterfall?
caption.
Oh, for the displays that do like
Yep. Some phones don't actually have like visibly rectangular displays. There's like rounded corners in the display level. Like you can't draw something in the very, very corner. So if you really need to customize for that exact case, and like most of the time the status bar and navigation bar kind of fill up that space. But if for some reason you want to know if some pixel in the very corner is actually going to be displayed or not, there you go. It's there. So that's where these APIs are very complicated, and like the difference between them is fairly subtle depending on the exact device. So that's where start with safe drawing, see if that does what you want, and then if you need more custom behavior, kind of go from there. Example without the safe APIs, just so we get an idea. So if you said do so let's instead of doing safe drawing, let's combine navigation bars and status bars.
Yeah.
So if you just do, so you can do, so if you do window insets dot status bars, then we get to look into how to kind of combine them. So if you do dot union,
oh, fancy.
then window insets dot navigation bars, that should roughly do the same thing, at least how we're looking at the device right now.
Okay.
So
I
hopefully
am
reloaded.
rerunning it. I put the mouse at the spot where, yes.
Yeah, so if you scroll up, it should be able to kind of go underneath, and then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, then it's still dodging the navigation bar. So that's another thing that's interesting is how these kind of combine. So we can do one more here that'll be interesting to look at. So if instead of just a box, if you put in a text field, we can start getting the IME involved.
Yes. I'm just gonna put the one here because item text field, outline text field, value bar text. I remember. Nope. Empty text is fine. Text on value change text equals it, and I need to import the stuff, and I need to import the other stuff. Okay.
Hey, the IME showed up. So in order to show this, I'm going to cheat a little bit because apt viewers of bugs know that putting text fields inside lazy column and doing some of this, there's some focus things that are currently being worked on, so it's not completely perfectly behaved. So let's actually move that text field outside the lazy column, so it's just kind of sitting at the top and always sitting at the top.
Okay.
Okay, so it's underneath the status bar. So let's start doing a few things. So let's dodge that as well. And so here we only want to do probably the top, and because it's at the top of the screen, we know that. We only probably want to do the window insets padding for the top and the sides of the status bar.
So I guess I would do this union something.
Yeah, do window insets union navigation bars.
Okay.
And then we'll want to apply this as padding instead of just setting the height. So let's do window insets padding instead. And then it might not be visible, but if there was like a background behind the text field, we probably don't want to include the bottom of the navigation
Okay.
bars. Yeah.
So this is fine. Let me unlock rotation so I don't have to do it all the time. And then this is fine. And this is fine. Okay.
Yeah. So if you yeah, so the issue here now is those blue squares are underneath the
Yes.
the text field. If we make that top box into a column, that'll probably solve that issue. And then that'll probably break the box, like the green box at the bottom.
Right.
I need to
Yes.
put that somewhere else.
It's fine. I can take it out. It was just to demonstrate things, so it's okay.
All right. And then one thing we see now is the status bars are kind of being already applied to the outline text field. So we don't need the top status bars anymore for the lazy column.
So we need to change this.
Yes. So let's change that to just being the navigation bars.
Okay.
So that is now if you scroll up. So
I'm already
the
at the
blue,
top.
or oh yeah, let's go the other way. So that should now be working, and then the blue will be kind of hidden underneath the yellow, which makes sense, because the yellow isn't like transparent.
Yeah, there's this.
And so yeah, so that's the gap of the outline text field. Right now we're applying a padding of all the status bars and all the navigation bars, but
Yeah.
we are also including the bottom navigation, which means that's the height of the navigation. We're applying it as a bottom padding, which doesn't really make sense because the navigation is way at the bottom. We're not aligned to the bottom of the screen. So if you do at the end of after the union,
Yes.
if you do dot only, we can then apply the only sides that we care about, which are the top and the horizontal, and you can just add them together. That horizontal. So now we got rid of that space. And if you rotate, we should be able to dodge the navigation still on the side.
And yes. Perfect.
There we go. So all this is a large part of setup. So if you go back to portrait, just would be easiest. And then you click on the text field, the keyboard's going to show up. And now if you scroll down the blue squares, you can see that there's now ones being covered up by the IME. And so this is basically what's happening here is we've told the system we're handling all the insets, and IME, the size of it, is also part of insets, which means we have to handle it ourselves, otherwise things could be obscured. And then one change, if we go to the manifest that we're going to do here, is there's a few different modes for how Android resizes the application because of the IME. And the one that you want that is most consistent across API versions is soft input mode, Windows soft input mode, adjust resize.
Right. So this tells the compose view that the size that it has is changed, and thus it will recompose everything, right?
Not quite. It's more like telling the Android system to resize the application as a whole, but then the window compat says actually don't resize, but take all those values and put them into window insets. So
Okay.
those two things together are kind of the most stable way to have information. So once, so if you run that now, nothing should change, but it allows us to add in another window insets, which is the IME padding. So now if we add in union window insets .ime, now there should be additional padding at the bottom so we can actually scroll all the way down. There shouldn't be any more. And if you now hide the IME, it should have hopefully that comes through in the stream, but it should have animated down away.
Yeah. It is visible for me. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Yes. So visibility animation for free right there, just by adding in IME. And so going back to the safe one, if you did window insets.safe drawing here, and now here we're only going to want to do the bottom and horizontal, because the top side is already being taken up by the status bar. Then the safe one will also take in IME into account. So it's more describing about what's kind of nice about the safe drawing one compared to like specifying the exact sides is safe drawing. You're really saying, I don't want to have my content be obscured. I just need to specify like which sides of it I need to be aware of. Whereas if you deal with the exact, like the navigation bars, the status bars, the IME, you need to kind of know a bit more of exactly where all of these are going to be placed and to be aware of that. So I'd start with safe drawing. You can, of course, we just saw what that is doing. If you click on safe drawing, it's just doing a union. That's all safe drawing does. Okay, maybe it's slightly more complicated than that, but system bars, IME, display cutout. That's all it's doing. And system bars is status plus navigation. So it's not doing anything complicated, but it's more the concept of it, of how to have my application be dodging the system UI.
I have finally understood some of this stuff that I had never really understood.
Yeah, good. Hopefully this makes it so that people don't hear insets then are immediately scared. Yeah, I think there's another comment about like the intelligence of not double setting them. So let's try that. So if we so let's say we go back up to our column, that top one, and so let's apply the status bar and the the status bar, and let's also apply the navigation bar padding there. Now, so if you rerun it, hopefully it reran.
I mean, it is white underneath here, so I think it's working.
Yeah.
Because we only had the content padding, so it should go all the way behind. If I take this out, yeah.
So if we add it back in, and then we scroll all the way to the bottom, so there's a little bit of extra space there, but there's not as much extra space as you might expect. So the window insets padding modifier, as well as the status bar paddings modifier, the navigation bars padding modifier, and then also like the window insets height. All of those are doing something with a modifier local under the hood, which is the implementation detail. But what it allows there to be is that status bar padding that we're applying at the very top. Inside that column, it won't apply the status bar padding again, even if we do specify it. So it's not double applying the status bar padding. So like for the outline text field, we're doing that window insets padding with the status bars and the navigation bars, but both of those are already being applied above, so those end up being no ops. So if you like, another way you can look at that is where you have status bar padding, if you apply status bar padding again, like if you just like call the modifier again, that won't actually change anything because the status bar padding is already being applied. It's not double applying it. And this is probably the biggest difference from the accompanist insets APIs. Is this kind of like more smart behavior? It's a little bit like at first glance, it seems like it's doing too much, like it's being very smart about it. But if the alternative is you'd have to like do very specific manual like calculations like, well, I've already applied this amount of the status bar padding here, so then I need to do more elsewhere. So it's kind of another tool to do that for you. So if you do, there's a couple APIs where you can kind of adjust that consumption. So this is the consumption part of it. Is when you apply that status bar padding in that column, it's consuming that amount of the insets. And that's like the modifier local inside insets padding modifier. Now we're deep in some code, but there's a modifier local consumer and a modifier local provider.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so it's basically saying, at this point, I'm applying the status bar, which maybe has a height of 84 pixels here. Then it lets everything know hierarchically down that, hey, 84 on the top has already been applied. Kind of take that away if you're trying to apply it again. So what this all, so if we go back to the main activity. So the content padding, though, because it's not one of those modifiers, because we're getting access to the insets directly. Like if you did anywhere in your code, if you did window insets, dot status bars like get top, like those are going to be the underlying value of the insets. It's not going to be kind of changed in this modifier way because we're not dealing with modifiers at that point. That'll be like the full size of it. Content padding also has that where it's taking the exact value. It's not dealing with the consumption aspect.
Because it's not one of the modifiers.
Yep, exactly. So that's why we're getting that space at the bottom where we're getting that extra space because it doesn't know about the consumption.
But I could just do this theoretically.
Right. Like it's already being applied, so we don't have to apply it as content padding if this is the effect we're going for.
Yeah.
So we can just get rid of the content padding that's being applied there. And so then if you rotate back, so instead on the lazy column, let's add in the .ime padding.
On the column?
On the lazy column.
Yes, sir.
So this, as we'd expect. So if we launch the IME now if we scroll down, the IME padding should still be applied. Then if we hide the IME, it should still animate down like before.
Yes.
And this is also some of the smart, because it's an IME padding, it will interact with the modifier local. And so the IME, like if you looked at the exact size of the IME, it would include all the space from the very bottom of the screen to the top of the IME. But the navigation bar is also from the very bottom of the screen to the top of the navigation bar. So if you applied both, if you just added them together, apply the height of the navigation bar, let's say it's 50 pixels, and we apply the height of the IME, let's say it's 300 pixels. If we applied both back to back, 50 plus 300, that'd be 350. But we only really want to go to the max of those two, because 350 would be 50 pixels above the height of the IME, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the good question is that kind of modifier local is specified in all these modifiers in the documentation. So if you like look at the documentation for IME padding there, the KDoc for it, it should say something along the lines of any insets consumed by other insets padding modifiers or consumed window insets on a parent layout will be excluded from the padding, and then IME will be excluded, consumed for child layouts as well. So all these should have that documentation, and it also links to consumed window insets, which is another modifier that allows interacting with this consumption system. So consumed window insets takes up padding values and basically says, without actually doing anything with them, without applying it as padding, without applying it as like some sort of height, just mark these padding values as consumed, and then children won't have it. That also interacts with this system, so children won't get those padding values. And so the case where this is useful is, say, like on our, like if we go back to our lazy column, like on our column, so actually on our column. So let's say we also add in just a padding of 10 dp everywhere. So that kind of insets everything by a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If we then open the IME again, let's actually do a little bit more than 10, just so it's more visible. So padding of 40. So the IME there, you can see that there's a gap of 40 above the IME, below the lazy column, and that lazy column should be scrollable still. Like those blue squares should scroll. If we do doc consumed right after the padding, if we do doc consumed window insets, and then we do padding values of 40, basically we're now telling the inset system, hey, there's some extra, yeah, this one, that part is experimental. We're telling the inset system, hey, we've already applied 40 dp on all directions, in addition to everything else we've applied. And now that IME padding will actually go to the edge of the IME. Or what I should say is the IME now will apply padding, but it knows that 40 dp has already been applied and it won't apply it again. So this is a much more advanced API. Like you wouldn't start here, but for specific effects that you're going for, especially around like the IME, this is a tool to kind of intercept how these paddings are being applied and changing those in these ways.
So normally you would end up using the consumed window insets when paired with a padding or a specific, like if this column were like a box where you have something at the bottom and you say, oh, don't bother about that bit because I've covered it, but I don't care if it's covered by the IME, for example.
Right, exactly. Like maybe you have like some image footer at the end of your column that has like a fixed height of 64 dp from like a designer. You could say, hey, that's fine if it's covered up by the IME or something like that. Maybe there's some scrim at the bottom or some like fade out. Even though that's like just a child way down deep, you can say that height of it in the consumed window insets, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes, I think it does. I saw. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one more thing. And like I said, I'll emphasize again, if you need the height of the window insets, the true height reported by the system at any point, you can always just do window insets dot the type and then the dot get bottom to get top and pass that into whatever logic. So if you want to completely bypass this this system, you can do that as well.
So if I wanted to do it for my own like logic, maybe I need the values for an animation or something like that.
Yep, exactly.
Got it. So I can animate things.
Yes.
Okay, cool. There was someone asking about gesture avoidance. I don't know if it's something you can do in a couple of minutes or if it's something we can postpone to a later episode, maybe.
Yeah, so I think there's two parts of that question. I think there's the like there's a system gestures insets type, which is just works like the other insets, and then there's also the like, I forget what the exact API is called, but it allows you to tell the system to not have a certain part of the screen intercept with window insets. I don't think that is currently supported in through any direct API. So we kind of have to write that ourselves. So we should probably not do that. I think that's a feature request that should be filed if it's not already filed.
So that's to cover use cases where you might need to do gestures on the screen, but you don't want them to conflict with, for example, the navigation to go back or something like that, right?
Yes, there are certain APIs that allow you, there's like a limit as well. I think you can only specify something like 200 dp on each side of the screen. But yeah, that would be like if you had a like a carousel or pager or something, and you don't want swiping at the edge of the carousel on the screen to be intercepted as a system gesture.
That happens so often. The bane of my existence are the image editors where whoever coded them didn't put the exclusion. So the corner that the handle at the corner that I use to resize the image or the crop is always at the edge of the screen. So you're like, please don't go back, please don't go back, please don't go back, please don't go back.
Don't go back. Yeah. Apparently, Twitch Chat just said there's a modifier for it. I was not aware of this. System exclusion something is. Whoa! I did not know this existed. Okay, apparently use this. That sounds right.
So this says the entire column cannot be used to go back, for example.
Yes. Yeah, I know Twitch Chat maybe taking up too much space. I know there's like kind of limits so that like you can't just say exclude my entire app from this, and the user can't go back.
Okay, so it requires R, so that might be something to consider. But if I go back to gesture navigation, and now that I have applied this to the entire column, theoretically, I should not be able to... come on. It was lagging like crazy. So now, theoretically, I shouldn't be able to go back, but I am. I don't know if it's because it's applying it to...
Maybe let's try applying it to just the outline text field.
Sure.
Maybe the full column is too much and it's not allowing it. I'd have to look at exactly what those limits are. I don't know them off the top of my head.
Let's see.
So there it's going back, and then if we do that at the top of the screen.
Yeah, it's not.
Does it work the other way?
It's on this side it's fine because the rectangle of the text field isn't extending all the way there. But if I change this to a box instead of a text field, then I can just see if it's because it's capturing for the input or if it's something else. So this needs a size, fill max width, and I don't know, 48 dip. Okay, and now let's, no, you cannot. It works. It works here. It doesn't work here. Yeah, this works.
Wow, nice. I did not know that existed. Thank you.
Thanks, Hugo. Thanks, Hugo. Yeah, Matt, Hugo was saying it didn't really quite work. Maybe it was because it was taking up too much space, or maybe it's something that wasn't very much working until recently. I don't know. Maybe you need to upgrade to a newer version of Compose and go through what we did.
Make Hilt work again.
Yeah, I knew the second I was like, oh yeah, I can update Compose, but then Hilt is gonna break for sure. It's happening all the time. Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to mention, Alex. Otherwise, we might be at a good spot to wrap up.
Yeah, I don't think I do. I think the accompanist migration is probably the best resource for if you're currently using accompanist insets and you want to migrate. And it also goes into more detail about some of the consumption behavior we kind of went through and explored. If there's bugs, I'm sure there's bugs. Please report them. I know there's a few already. When you start doing some of this stuff in subcomposition, there's like some issues, it seems like right now. But yeah, if you find more bugs with it, please report. And because all this is using the same window insets APIs under the hood, if there's bugs with those will also impact us here. So maybe there's a bug that we need to fix higher up. But yeah, I'd encourage you to try it out and hopefully make your apps go all the way. Use every pixel available to you. Go all the way edge to edge. That's really the point here. And to be able to have some of these nice keyboard animations, like getting all that for free, is super cool. And you can make sure that all of the screen that your user is giving to you, you can actually use. And please don't call the system resource to get the fixed status bar height. That will break.
That will 100% break.
Yep. Yeah, and it might not break today, but it might break tomorrow. Yeah.
I mean, these days it's probably going to break, regardless. Even just like the obvious case would be you run the app on like a multi-window scenario or a resizable window scenario, like on a Chromebook or something. That's gonna break for sure.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and if you're in the case where you're locking the portrait and not allowing multi-window mode, please don't do that either. And then yeah, it'll break.
Don't make Roberto cry.
Yeah, and yeah, these APIs, hopefully in Compose, it makes it a lot easier. For the people in the know, you know how painful some of this was with some of the Vue APIs, and especially like adding an animation support. The fact that that's built in is like, you don't want to know how much code is behind that.
I will just say I'm happy someone has done it for me, because I remember how painful it was to do insets with the views, and having it's just just put the modifier and 90% of the cases will be fine. And then for the remaining 10% of the cases, just you have a bunch of things that just put together. You compose them together. So this was incredible. I understand things which I could not claim before. So thank you very much, Alex. It's been super useful for me, and hopefully for the people that are watching us as well. Where can we stalk you if things don't will break?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Alex_Vanyo. So yeah, please, I mean, I don't want to say spam me with all your insets issues, but
spam the issue tracker with those.
Yeah, if you have the biggest thing for issues, of course, I think everyone will say this is a good sample that is easily reproduced. Like that can help us get to the bottom of it very quickly. So yeah, happy to pay attention and try to spread the insets knowledge as much as I can. So hopefully this is something that all apps can kind of opt into and look their best.
Fingers crossed. Thanks again. Ivan, do you want to do the closing Ivan thing?
Yes, Alex. Thank you very much. This was incredible. We predicted this had to be a great episode, and it was an incredible episode. We managed, even with the technical issues, or as we call it, SEB. So that's what we do. I mean, I'm kidding, but I love that the people in the chat enjoyed. We went through a lot of questions. I definitely have to watch this episode again, because I was doing a lot of stuff in the meantime, and I was like getting bits and there here and there. But as Sebastiano said, there is a lot of information and a lot more clarity, especially with the things that are done automatically for us. For once, we get stuff for free that helps us, so I love it. And yeah, we ran the so thank you a lot for this. For the giveaways, congratulations to Bo 13 for the stickers and Stalianos for the IntelliJ license. So we are going to reach out for the giveaways, for the gifts. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Remember that you can support us for free if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. Just link your account, and then Twitch is gonna give you the opportunity to subscribe for free for 1 month. The money that we get goes into the project for swag and stickers and paying the shipping or stickers all around the world. We also have merch on the shop. Check out the t-shirts and the stickers. There are stickers that you can buy, like the infamous Invalidate, Caches, and Restart. This is one of our best sellers. You won't be able to buy this one, but you can get it if you get the old sticker pack. So this is done by Virginia. So this is some serious stuff. Same logo for the t-shirts. So Sam's camera is overheating. So anyway,
It's
so
a sign.
let's wrap this up. Let's
Special
wrap it up
effects.
before be burned to the ground. Thank you again. Check out the VOD. Please like and subscribe. This is very important for us, because we realize that if we want to put merch on YouTube, we need to reach 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we really need your help, because we already have the store, but we want it also below the videos on YouTube. And apparently I checked out with YouTube people, and it was like, yeah, everything is okay. You just need like 10 times the subscribers that you have. And I was like, cool.
Working on
Thank you
it.
for the support. It's gonna be okay. So if you follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and you can turn on the notification. Everything is gonna be a bit smoother from now on. So thank you again, Alex. Thank you a lot. And for the subscribers, we are gonna do the usual clickbaity thumbnail for the stream. So Sebastiano is gonna put the Google Meet URL on Discord. Remember that if you are subscribing, if you are supporting us in any way, from Twitch to Coffee, you can join the Discord server. So just look it up, and see you on the other side, I guess.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
See you next week.
So
Oh, God. Animations next week. Yes.